Hey folks, favorite 98%er on YouTube, Mike the Disgruntled Mechanic. Today what I'm going to do is I am putting the pinion seal back together and some other things. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you what I've done. I already have it ripped apart. I did video of ripping it apart. I hit so many bumps and snags that I am not going to put that out there for general publication. What I'm going to do is put a video together of where I'm at and putting it back together and how I did it. I will say this is the way that I'm doing it. It does not follow factory specifications normally. If you are putting a pinion seal in, please follow the manufacturer's specifications on how to do it and go about it. I'll show you the lessons I learned, and then I will show you putting it back together, and I think that will be it. This is the type of yoke that my truck, the 2500 HD with the Duramax, has in it. Now what I did was, and actually I figured I put too many marks on it, but I marked this in relationship to your pinion yoke. When I took it off, I also marked the nut, because what I did with the nut was I measured the nut, the threads that were out from the nut, which was 4/32. Yeah, I know, an eighth, but I went by the 4 measurements on the little. You'll see it when I put it back together. But I did that. I marked my universal, so I know where the universal goes here. So I'm thinking I have everything marked appropriately. We'll see when I put it back together. I'm hoping that I did. You only want to go in with the nut because, of course, there's a little crush collar in there that the bearing preload is set and all that. So that's why I marked it, to hope that it goes back into the same exact spot where it was, so I don't have problems. Now, one of the things, I'll be honest, that I didn't know when I did it, because this seal was so crapped up and I hadn't done one of these style yokes, is there is actually a sleeve on here that goes into your pinion seal on the rear. So it was a lesson learned. I had taken it off, and then I realized, well, my gosh, I need another one, so I didn't have the parts for it. So that, what this looks like is, I can show you because I got a spare one here. I don't know if I'll ever have to do this again in my lifetime, but I'm just good at buying spare parts. That's your sleeve that goes on here. And with saying that, we got a spare seal too. This is the seal. This is the seal that will go on over your pinion shaft and onto your rear, and then of course this will fit, you know, right into your rear, just like that. Actually, the truck's rear, just like that. So that's where we're at. That's what we're going to do. We're going to put this back on. It's all together. Just one of the hints or tricks that I did when I put this on, because I had something to push it down on with, or sort of hammer it down on, but I wanted to be careful. As you can see, you don't want to go ape shit on this thing, because you could bend this, and I don't want to bend it, you know. So I had something to go in here and pound it on. But what I did was I actually put the yoke in the freezer, and then I heated this up so that it would be, you know, bigger to slip on the yoke and go on easier, which it did. And basically all I did was I dropped it in hot water, put it over, blew dry it real good. I'm going to grease this up with some spray grease before I put it on, and I think that'll be just fine. I guess the proof will be in the pudding when we do it. So the other thing I got to do when I'm underneath there is I got to do the 90 weight. I think I hit all the points basically. I put the new sleeve on, and you know, have this marked. I think I would only need it one mark here because it could have got confusing. That's why I did put a D on here. So I remembered that was down. But we'll do it. We'll tighten the nut up. We'll change out the fluid, and hopefully this job with this pinion seal is done. Maybe I'll talk about getting this seal out and how I did it. First off, I don't know if you can see it or not, but I did mark this. This was up, and that's the mark that was up. It got sort of crappy, so I'm hoping I can get this all back together. It'll be what it's going to be. But with taking this seal out, I just want to let you know some of the tools I used. I used this nice slide seal puller remover. You just put it in the seal. This is an old seal, but you just put it in the seal. You can hammer back on it like with a slide hammer. That took that seal out real nice. Thank you, OzStar. I'm glad that I got that. So when I pop this seal out around the inside, the seal was shot. The seal's terrible. When I go back up to the workbench and set up, I'll show you what the old seal looked like and the old sleeve that was on the yoke. What I did is I cleaned inside here where the seal seats on the rear end real clean, but I had pitting. I had some major pitting in there, and I took some emery cloth to it, and I couldn't clean it up. So what I did, I took some of the I put a light ultra black sealer on there when I put it in, just to try and take up the little bit of galding and stuff that was in there that I couldn't get rid of. So I got that on there. The other thing I'm going to do is I got some red Loctite. When I put this nut back on, I'm going to make sure that I put some red Loctite on it to keep it on there too. I don't think it'll hurt a thing. The other thing I'm going to show you is I'm going to get some spray grease now and grease this up with the spray grease, and then I'm going to put the yoke on. I think that's next. I hope I don't miss anything here. Put the yoke on, and then I'll show you the tool that I used to pull the yoke, because I had nothing that was big enough to span across the bolt holes on the yoke to actually pull that yoke off. And it was tight. It was rusted. Everything on this was rusted. You've seen my vehicle. You know what it's like. So I paid the money and bought the tool. I'm glad I did, because I'm not sure how I would have got that off there. I was pounding it and everything, and this tool just worked great. Even though it was expensive, it got the job done. So let me get the spray grease, the yoke, and we'll try and get this back together as close as possible. Now I'm going to have to float in front of the camera to get this lined up the best that I can. I'm going to put a little bit on the back here even. It won't hurt a thing. So let me get this lined up. Okay. Looks about as close as it's going to be. Now I got the hammer, and I'll get her back on there. Now the nut will tighten her up the rest of the way in there. And just to show you that, as I said, I marked the nut, so that should go up. There should be 4 30-seconds, or 4 is 1, 8 fours are 32, or an eighth, but it's easier with the little marks of the bolt sticking out when I get that on there. That's where I took it away from. But what I wanted to show you was, this is the tool that I got for removing this. And basically, you put the two bolts in. You put a bolt in here and a bolt in here. You take this piece, and it actually fits in these holes. It fits, I'll just show you here. What it does is it fits in like this, then you turn it and lock it, and then what you do is you just spin this in to your pinion shaft. Just keep tightening this as it pulls your yoke off. I mean, I was careful with pounding and everything to make sure that I tried to get it off as easily as possible. But that's how that works. And the thing is, you can't use a two-jaw puller on this. Because this is rubber, I guess it's for dampening. It actually has rubber in it, and it started to pull this away from the rubber. You know, I did try it, but that was no good. I got some red Loctite I'm going to put on here. At least some. At least I'll feel like I made an effort. And then I'm going to put the nut on. Now you can use that. See, the good thing with that tool is you can use this tool also, because then you can get in to tighten the nut if you want. But I'm going to live dangerously, and you got to be careful. You don't want to blow past your mark. Because 4:30 seconds isn't much. Okay. I would say that's the mark where it should be. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the drive shaft back in, tighten that up to the 18 foot-pounds on those bolts. Like I said, I have the universal marked where it goes in. I got new universals, but I'm not going to do them right now, even though I know it needs it. Then I'm going to drop the fluid out of here. The 90 weight, 3.85 quarts goes back in. I'm going to make sure I get the exact mounting. Couple other things before I finish up here, and this is the seal driver that I bought to drive the pinion seal in. It's magnetic, which is pretty nice. So here you can hold it like that. I still had a tough time getting it in straight, but it's the way it is. So anyhow, this is what the old sleeve looked like. The rubber here on the outside's gone. Now the seal itself didn't look too terrible, other than the fact that, believe it or not, this rusted part, this is actually what this was actually this part here, and it was that gone. You know, that's how rusted it was and how rotted it was. And like I said, the seal didn't look too bad, but of course this would go in here, and I'm just hoping it was just the seal. I hope there's nothing else wrong, but I wanted to show that before I finished up. So there you have it. That's finishing up the pinion seal. I think you've seen under there, there's it's not leaking. I took it for a short ride and no leaks, which is a good sign. We'll run her a little more and see what happens. Topped off the transmission fluid, no leaks. So we put the grill back on. The only thing I have left is the fuel cooler and the fuel lines, which I got them sort of jury-rigged. I'm going to leave them the way they are. I think they'll work. They've been working. I have them here. It's just a matter of putting them on, but I got to take a break from this thing. I'm going to run it. I need it. Want to do some stuff with it. So when we go to do the fuel lines, we'll be back. With saying that, this is your favorite 98%er on YouTube, Mike the Disgruntled Mechanic. And I just want to say thank you for watching. I appreciate everybody who subscribes and watches my channel and comments. I try to get back to everybody. So, till next time, thanks for watching. See ya.